property is right on the edge of the city limits, so he suggested I come here and present my case to you guys. That's why I'm.
We'll discuss. Can't take any action on tonight, but we'll definitely it's on the table now. Pete, you got anything for us? No. Okay.
Any idea, and I don't know if your water, whoever's taking care of the water stuff, any idea when our hydrant at the fire station might get replaced?
I don't have any kind of a timeline on that at this point. We need to double check and make sure we've got a replacement for it. Ask the guys to go down and take a look at it to kind of get a feel for what it's going to take. I think it's probably going to involve Jake from Ashmore coming over to help out.
Yeah, it's got a crack above the seal, so as soon as you open it,
Yeah, I saw your post saying it kind of swells the ground and just leaks all over.
big time.
And how long has it been doing that?
Over 20 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely get somebody down and take a look at that.
Okay. When you get to the utility stuff, are you going to discuss water stuff?
If you've got a comment on it or a question, we can.
Well, I didn't know what you were going to discuss. As far as you guys asked the Clark Acre Water District, I don't know if that was going to be part of tonight's discussion. There were some things that were questions were raised down there that may or may not be history you guys know. And I don't know where those records might be, but I do know at one point, when everything went in 14 or 15, every connection to every residence was lead. There was a lead connector to the meters. Actually, most of them didn't have meters back then.
You mean here in town?
Here in town.
Okay.
He had started a program where he was replacing those and had a logbook entry of every one that he had replaced. So when it comes to that, I think it's 2024's deadline for the lead issue. It's not that we have to dig up every one. We already know where they all were, and if we have those records that Frank had, which I don't know where they may be.
Right.
But somewhere, I know for a fact he kept a log of every one that he removed. So then it's a simple deduction. Here's what he's removed. The rest of
Everything else must be lead.
must be lead,
Right.
and that may be a valuable box of records, but I do know for a fact that Frank kept that stuff.
Okay. It'd probably be down at the water plant, I'm guessing.
That's where it was then, because the lead, he put it in a barrel, and Sid Justice, melt it down and make
Sure.
stuff for the black powder guys,
Yep.
and whatnot. That's where most of the lead went. But
Gotcha.
he had a good record of it, and I talked with Sid the other day, and he recalls specifically that there was a very detailed record of it, because he knew eventually they all had to be replaced
Right.
at some point. So I do know there's a record somewhere.
Okay. We'll have to dig into that.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
mute. It doesn't make any difference.
What's that?
It doesn't make any difference
What doesn't?
whether the gooseneck was replaced or not. Because the gooseneck comes off a cast iron that's sealed with lead. So the cast iron pipe that all of them go to has to be replaced. So it doesn't make any difference.
It's a lot bigger than just the, but at least that would give us a starting point.
Correct.
So, okay, cool. Good to know. All right. Anything else from you?
No.
Okay. Leo? No?
Oh, come on, Leo, you ain't got nothing?
I didn't get your names,
Do you
ladies.
want my keyboard?
Jamie Derrick. This is Mary Jane Ham. Mary Jane Hale.
Okay. You guys have anything for us? We're in the public commentary section, so. No? Okay. Josh? Okay. Just observing? Okay. Larry?
No.
Nothing for us?
Listening.
Okie dokie. All right. Anybody else?
I got it. Has anybody, has there had a problem with their water about a month ago, especially down by the Christian church? Has that water gotten any better, or has it gotten any worse, or does anybody know? Have you heard anything?
Don't think we got anybody from down there.
And mine actually today is probably pretty decent.
Yeah.
First time it's been decent for a long time.
Okay.
Now, like 3 weeks ago, with the chlorine deal, that was bad.
Yep.
Yeah. There's we were at the Christian church, and my wife went to get water out of the fountain there, and it had a smell and real bad taste to it. But we haven't noticed it lately, so.
Okay.
I know the water at the station, just FYI, is brown as your shirt,
Yeah.
and it smells all the time.
Okay. And it's not like you guys don't occasionally use the hydrant at all.
Every other month we probably do. I mean, we don't every month.
Right,
but-
probably more frequently than,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We probably use it more washing the trucks than anything, but there's definitely a foul odor and it's,
okay,
yeah.
alright. Alright, we'll move on then to approving the minutes from last meeting. Everybody should have a copy. If I remember right, it was fairly short.
We talked about a lot of stuff.
We
though,
did
so-
cover a lot of territory. Anybody have any questions or amendments on the meeting minutes? Alright, hearing none, minutes will stand approved as read. Alright, on to budget and finance. Everybody should have a copy of the bills. And balances on the agenda. So we got
The waterworks account
Yep,
is from cashing in one of our CDs
okay.
to pay, for
Yeah,
the water softener.
all service.
Yes, the $44,000 that it cost us to get that fixed.
Yep.
And I can't cash in the other water CD until the 9th because it was one that had to go
Locked in.
the whole term, so.
Sure.
I called them and let them know, and she said she'd just wait until we cashed in the other one, and then I could pay it in full.
Okay. Cool. Any questions on the bills as listed? Alright. Get a motion to pay the bills.
Move we pay the bills.
Need a second?
I'll say it.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We can get those taken care of. Department reports. Start with village clerk.
I am just now getting ready to start our audit for fiscal year 22-23. As you know, we just finished up our last audit because it took forever. So that'll be started. We got the contract from Gilbert Metzger Madigan to get it signed, so I'll send that back in and we'll go ahead and get started. We did go ahead and purchase the property from Lauren, so now we just need to get a quick deed. And also, I think Ross was gonna take the, other deed in too to get a quick deed, get our names put on it.
And we need to get the paperwork to do the exempt status.
Yes. I don't really have a lot today.
Okay?
Getting applications for treasurer?
Yes, we have that here.
3, yeah, we'll talk about it closed.
Alright, chief, you got?
We
report
do.
for us?
So last month we had 0 accidents. We had 6 vehicle stops, 6 citations. I think 4 of those were from the flop cameras for suspended individuals coming through. 2 motorist assists, with 6 calls for complaints. That's not counting the ones at the sheriff's office if they responded over here. As you see there, that obviously myself, Casey, Doug Cochran, Dan Hale, Adam Rose, Patrick Easter, they worked last month. So all the Coban in-car and body-worn cameras are in. The data storage has arrived. Harris has installed the data storage, and we are waiting on Coban to finalize the installation. Apparently, they have to come in. You guys from Tech World will know this on the backside and do something. They will not allow anyone but someone from Coban to do it.
Sure.
I'm assuming it's some sort of rights or something. Officer Nicholson graduated from SWIC on the 25th, and she has had an immediate and a super positive response at TLC.
Cool.
I mean, I did not anticipate her doing as well as she's doing there. The kids love her. Obviously, the kids love her K through 12 because they knew her already. But she's got some of the tougher ones eating out of her hand.
Cool.
So that's a good deal. Doug, Officer Cochran, and I attended EVOC instructor school at SIU Carbondale the 28th to 31st. So we are now certified EVOC instructors. This was 100% funded through the MTU 13 Brad Oyer had some money. He sent 5 of us to Evocta instructor school. And the deal was we had to teach the course at the MTU at least once a year. Otherwise, we can teach it as often as we need to, civilians or police.
So what's EVOC?
Emergency Vehicle Operation Course. So it's, if you do it to the extent that we did at SIU, they go through tires about, what did he tell me? Every 800 miles. It's maneuvering, it's controlling the vehicle, evasive operations. He also teaches the guys from Blackwater for evasive vehicle operations for, like, you know, when they're in Iraq and they're getting shot at, how to drive backwards, J-turns, things like that. And we're still waiting on the USDA, the grant. We've been advised that we're going to get the grant. We're just waiting on the formal letter for the squad car. We're still in the process for the data storage grant through the Illinois Law Enforcement Training Standards Board. The Officer Recruitment and Retention Grant through the Training Standards Board. There's also an additional grant that we've applied for through Lexipol for an additional car. It was a car grant. They were throwing a bunch of money out.
Sure.
And we applied for it. We also applied for a less lethal force grant, which has to do with tasers and capstun and bolo wraps.
Okay.
All obviously less lethal. And we're still looking for different areas of funding and sources. I know Doug has contacted Congressman Miller, and he's also contacted the state rep in reference to if there's any money as far as stuff like that for a municipal building.
Sure.
Other than that, that's all we have.
Okay.
I did follow up with the emergency generator for the water plant. They do service once a year, but it's not free. I mean, obviously we would have to pay for it between $500 and $600. And then they do filters, oils, battery, the voltage. He said it's like a 105-point check that they do every year. And the warranty is good for one, because it's used.
Okay.
So I didn't know if we needed that information before we could move forward on voting for it, so.
Well, we were mainly worried about maintenance.
Right.
Since that's the long term, if it's sitting there doing nothing for a long period of time, we want to make sure it actually comes on and does the switch over. Learn from the county that sometimes the switch doesn't flip. So yeah, lots of important moving parts there. So I don't know, does that answer the questions everybody had from last meeting when we were talking about it?
Yeah, the service will include changing oil because it's probably gonna have a lot of moisture in that oil.
Yeah.
And the way it's gonna be
And
run.
breakdown setting over time or whatever, so making sure everything gets maintained. Okay. So we want to go ahead and get a motion to order the generator from them?
A motion.
D&M. Okay, got a motion, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And I know there was a lag time to get that, for them to just get everything in and everything anyway, so get the process started.
I will.
Okay. Everybody should have a utilities report.
Well, I love the big print. That's great.
Okay. So now is basically as good a time as any to kind of go over for everybody where we're at with the water plant, for those that haven't gotten caught up or haven't been able to get caught up. So to date, for the last 2 years, we have been basically rebuilding systems at the water plant from scratch, it feels like. And basically looking at the bills, it definitely feels like it. We started with the water retention tank, which is where the raw well water comes in and just sits so that all the sediment can precipitate out of it, all the way through to the water softener, which has just recently been put back in line. So that's the filtering, the pumps, the electrical systems at the water station, everything has been touched one way or another. Through that process, the water quality has fluctuated rather dramatically. Last summer was probably the worst singular event I think any of us have seen, with it being like chocolate milk colored and reeking like sewer. Thanks to our mutual assistant contracts with Ashmore, we've managed to track down and repair and replace practically everything. The water filtration system, luckily we did not have to rebuild the media layers that they use to filter it. We just had to scrape off about an inch worth of iron off the top of it, which came in off of the retention tank because it also had about a foot of sediment in the bottom of it. So after we started and got that cleaned, got the filters cleaned, we started seeing the water quality come back in parts of town. The best guess at this point is that we have pockets flowing through town. We're not sure how exactly, we're not sure where, we're still trying to narrow them down. It's like we go out, we flush a hydrant, it's okay in a neighborhood for a while, and then it settles back in. So, with all of those parts and pieces being replaced, we've burned about $100,000 so far just this year, replacing parts and pieces at the water plant. So it's not like we are sitting on our hands doing absolutely nothing. We have to wait on supplies, we have to wait on availability for specialists. So things are being done. You may not see it at home, but it's happening. If you have a specific complaint, if you have a sample of water that you want tested, complaining on Facebook is not going to get it done. Bringing it to our guys so that we can send it to the appropriate lab to get all the tests done on it will tell us if there's something specific in your home that is causing issues. The main thing is we can't walk onto your property and just take a sample of your water without your invitation. So all of this churn that we get, people complaining, we understand. We all live in town. Some of us have filters and have seen them get bad. They're supposed to last 6 months. They go bad in a month to 2 months to 3 months. We've seen that. So we're not immune to the effects. So all that said, that's where we're at. Like I said, if you have a specific sample or complaint, you need to let us know. We don't get on the Facebook group. It is not ours. We do not control it. We have no say over what happens there. We do have a Facebook page where we post our announcements. That's it. And the website occasionally will be able to post announcements for picking up at the park or whatever, but not very often.
What's the name of the website?
KansasIllinois.com. And there's links to both the group and the page off of that. So yeah, there's that. So anybody after all of that have any questions or comments on the water stuff? 'Cause I'm happy to answer. Yeah.
Is this $100,000 from black maintenance, lack of a certified operator at the plant?
It was precipitated by lack of maintenance. Lack of maintenance over the course of us having to replace people who took the job, didn't realize what they were getting into. Or being completely hounded by people and being utterly distracted. That was another thing. But
The $45,000 for the softener was way overdue
Yes.
for that fee.
yeah, the water
It's
softener.
not like they didn't do something right and caused a problem.
Yeah.
It was due for maintenance.
Yeah. The water softener, we were told when the guys came to inspect it, they said normally you replace the media every 10 years,
Yeah.
something like that. We were 20 years on that water softener. And that's a testament to Andrew being able to keep everything balanced. But with Andrew leaving, a lot of things fell through the cracks. So, we're now stuck picking up the pieces and repairing what got broke.
So all those sediments that you're talking about was due to no maintenance, now going through all the piping? Possibility?
Well, the bulk of the discoloration stuff we discovered was coming straight from the water softener that was 100% packed with the iron sediment.
Yeah.
And the problem with the iron in the water, we're in a very iron high water table.
Right.
So if you add chlorine to water that has a lot of iron in it, from what I understand, it gets discolored and it reeks.
Yeah, it makes it stink.
It just makes it worse.
But the problem.
So if it's coming out of the faucet already discolored, it's gonna
Okay.
get worse.
But from my understanding, if you're smelling the chlorine in the water,
Mm.
there's not enough,
There's not enough in it.
so
They
I
test,
worked in a water plant.
they
If-
test for levels on
In
chlorine.
Well, because of the issue we had down at Leo's, we had the guys go out and take some samples and compare it to what EPA standards are. EPA standard says, I believe, it's about 4 something. I don't know what exactly the measurement is. When we tested it at your hydrant next to your house, it's 3.6 something. Now, EPA says that's still safe. You would disagree. I completely
Well, it said
understand.
the swimming pool is safe, but you don't wanna open your eyes. into
Right,
the water.
I understand.
Do you have those people?
But again,
So that first morning, I went in and turned the water on,
Yeah.
stopped water in my face, and thought somebody threw a cup of acid in my eyes.
Right.
That's how much chlorine was in it.
so there's that. Part 2 to all of that is we've recently learned, because all the people who knew before are now gone, the plumbing from the water plant, I have always been led to believe goes from the water plant to the tower.
Nope.
That's not how that works. So apparently there's at least one person here who knows better. So we found plans and discovered that the water plant hooks into the south end of town and plumbs the entire south end of town. So when there's a hiccup at the water plant, you're getting it.
First year. Right.
So
When the water
that's
tower is full.
and that's but see that's why you have the high
The
chlorine
plant shuts
because
off,
on the north
water
end well no
tower
on
supplies
the
the
north
town.
end of town all the water goes to the water tower and it sets in the water tower and the chlorine evaporates out or dissipates or gets mixed in or whatever it is. So on the north end of town we don't get the chlorination side of things.
We
So
live right down there and ours is just as bad
Right.
as it is.
and there will be variations on the thing. I looking at the plans down there, I'm not a plumber. I can't tell you exactly. I just saw 2 main lines. One of them hooked into town and plumbed the entire south end of town. The other one hit the school and then hit the tower. And so when the town was built with all of these mains, 100 plus years ago, that's how they did it. I don't know if that's right now or not.
They didn't loop it either, and that's part of the other problem.
Okay.
The system, they all did, and that creates a bigger problem.
Okay, so part 3 to all of that. We've been digging hard for grants, as is evidenced by Chief's report, just on the things that he's been able to get. There's a grant right now for $1.5 million for a new water tower. Those agencies came to us. We didn't realize it was there. It was just kind of like part of the discussion. It's like, oh. So they've already basically said, apply for it. You'll get it.
Yeah.
The new water tower is planned for being down at the water plant, which will allow us to rectify how the water is plumbed and through the rest of town. So we'll be able to go into the water tower and do all that process if that's required. I don't know. Further to that, that leads us into the long-term grant 3-year cycle, wasn't it? To replace all the main water lines in town. Now, that's just our water lines, not the one going from the meter to your house, because we have no control over that. That's yours.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there because I've lived this in Florida. So there's grants out there for the homeowners that from the town to the home, there's grants out there that if you stay in your home for X amount of years, then it pays for itself.
Sure.
So that, as a homeowner,
Something definitely to look for.
it is something to look into.
Absolutely.
But it was done because the town had the problem.
Right.
So the town, as they were getting the grants for the city,
For the main lines.
for the main lines, that's where the homeowners,
Could
they in
apply.
turn applied for the grants for the homeowners.
So that
and
way-
we went through the town.
That way you're getting it all done in
You're
one shot.
getting it all done at once, and then we as homeowners go in and say, okay, I want it, I'm applying for it, and the grant money came from the town to the homeowner.
Oh,
So then you picked your plumber, and then with that being said, the plumber got paid by the city.
okay. Well, I don't know anything about that.
Well, I'm just letting you know it's out
And
there.
it may or may
exists.
not, because that's the other thing. Grants are like smoke.
We-
1 year they're there, the next year they're gone, and in 3 years they pop back up. It's
But
just
it,
one
but
of
it's
those weird
the
things.
Aaron
But it's
Markovich
It's
Ford Field.
totally worth
So
looking into.
it's
I agree.
still there.
So that's, again, that is where we're at with all the water stuff. The water softener is back online now, so hopefully we'll see more soap suds and softer water in general. Anybody have anything else on top of any of that?
Two comments, in regards to the tower, did they give you any indication what volume of a tower that is?
I've not seen anything like that. We're literally just at, we haven't even applied for anything yet.
Okay, and I'm assuming plans to still keep what you have?
The one that we have will be decommissioned most likely,
Okay,
because it's a town of 600 and some odd people. I don't know that we necessarily need to. The one that we have is in, per last inspection, is in good shape, other than one of the legs needs the concrete looked at.
okay. Where I was going with it from our ISO standpoint, water volume and capacity makes a big difference on your insurance rating, and we've got us, I think we're down to a 6.
Yeah.
We were clear up at a 9 for years, but water and water capacity, flow capacity are the two biggest factors. But we can't do anything in the fire station to overcome that, to reduce everybody's insurance rates.
Right.
So when you do the grant, if you're getting rid of that, add that volume, what is that tower? Is it,
I don't know how many
55.
gallons it is.
20,000, 30,000?
55.
Is it? Okay.
When it's full? Okay. If you get something that's at least double or triple that, it really helps your ISO system.
Sure.
And then when you do the water mains, whoever your engineer is, go with the 5-inch steamer connections, don't go with 2.5 connections.
And I was gonna ask you about that.
It makes a
Separate.
massive difference, and we could potentially get down into a 4 rating on our water capacity, which could save people anywhere from $50 to $100 a year on their insurance.
Okay. Like I said, I was gonna reach out to you on that anyway. If we were looking
No
at that
problem.
3-year replacement thing, I figured it was the opportunity,
Yep.
so. all right.
Yeah, but do you realize what the maintenance is on the 2 towers? I mean,
Oh,
No,
absolutely,
he-
I
No, we're
totally understand.
he's just talking about adding that capacity to the new one.
Yeah.
If we can increase the, I don't know what the price tag it would be for that.
Right,
We'll have to see
understand.
all that, but yeah.
If that's a 50-some thousand, I mean, I built water towers like 26 years, 27 years. 150,000 gallon tank is like small.
Yeah,
Do you, any idea what the size of the one over in Ashmore is? Just offhand?
Jake would know off the top of my head, I don't recall.
All
I
right.
can't remember exactly what it looks like, but I mean, probably one of the smallest ones for like even small towns that we put up was like a 300,000.
Okay. Well, that's something to pay attention to as we're looking at getting into the planning.
Yeah,
And I definitely wanted to involve the fire department because that's a big part of it.
Yeah, because from a fire planning standpoint, when the church burned, it didn't take us 45 minutes, that tower was done, we were out of water.
Right.
And we have to plan for the worst possible scenario.
Yeah.
If you got the grant,
The
go
other,
big or stay home.
the other thing we've been discussing with the vendors that do our pumps and a lot of the hardware down there is our pumps that we currently have theoretically have the capacity of doing the multi-speed. So in the event that we run out of water in the tower, we could theoretically hold pressure down there, but that's another upgrade that we would have to do. But I asked them for a quote, but that was on top of all the other stuff we have going on. So.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind, and your engineer should tell you this, unfortunately the ones in Brockton didn't, but part of your entire capacity, when you look at your water lines and they tell you, well, you'll be fine with 4-inch, your underground water lines is part of your storage. That's readily usable water, so go big there as well, because it does two things. It reduces friction loss, which makes sure the pressure you are pumping is not lost in that distribution. The smaller the line, the more friction loss you have. So you can have a 6 or 8-inch main. I think the one by the tower is 8, but if you stick with 8-inch mains, you have a massive amount of water stored for the community, ready and
Just
able to
ready,
use right there.
Okay.
And that becomes a secondary supply that we don't even think about because we don't see it.
Sure. And then you asked about our visit to the rural water.
Yeah, I'm just curious if there was anything that came out of that.
It was literally just curiosity. We were just wondering what it would run, and it turned out to be a lot more than there was. Yeah, it's not going to work. So nothing came out of it. So on top of all the grant talk, all the discussion about upgrades and things, the biggest issue is in order to qualify for any of these grants is the topic of increasing water rates, which I know everybody just loves to hear. We have been told flat out that they will not even consider us for any of the grants until we increase our rates from the $10 per 1,000 gallon to the $15 per 1,000 gallon. In the past, we've discussed increases, and it's always been tabled or shot down. Right here, right now, we don't have the money to do these upgrades ourselves. And they've told us flat out the reason that we can't keep up on the maintenance or pay somebody who actually has the certifications is because we are the cheapest water in the area. And the only reason that is because it's just been, that's the line that everybody's held up to this point on the board. So I guess this is an opportunity for anybody to sound off on.
I'll pay the extra $5 or $10 a month.
Right.
Or even
I mean,
20.
does it make sense?
I pay double for good water.
Yeah, there you go. We don't,
Keeping the grandbaby safe, that's all it means to me.
Okay.
Ross,
Yeah.
along those lines, just as an FYI, what we did when we went with the ambulance referendum, up front, we told everybody in the community, everybody got elected. Here was our goal with our ISO rating. If we do this with rescue, we do this with ISO, we were going to bring down our levy, or bring down the insurance rates.
Right.
We proved that we did that. That saved an average of $165 per family. That referendum to keep the ambulance here passed by, I believe it was 76 or 77%.
Sure.
So building that justification out up front with everybody, here's what it's gonna take. I think you'll get the support, but
Right.
you gotta know what's on the
Yes.
backside to justify it, and I think everybody would agree.
Okay.
It's almost everybody.
Well, I understand this is just a straw poll of a few people, and
Oh,
we're definitely going to step it up and make sure everybody's aware.
And that's why we sent the letters, we sent it to every resident in town when we did that.
Right.
To inform them what we were trying to do and why, and why we felt that was the best path.
Sure.
And it worked out real well.
With the water increase of, what'd you say?
It's half again, so it's from $10 to $15 per 1,000 gallon.
So at that cost, what I'm spending a month buying water to use, it would be cheaper for you to raise the rates and give me good water.
Right. And see, I understand that sitting here by myself, but short of going around and knocking on everybody's door and asking everybody's opinion, trying to explain all this every time, I can't really gauge. You know, all I hear is people on Facebook lighting fires. So, you know, here I am.
How often do you flush them?
The guys have a routine. I don't know, Junior, how often do we?
Every other month.
So every other month or so, we'll go around flushing hydrants.
There's part of the problem.
Yeah, that's part of your problem.
Well, the other thing consider,
Supposed to do it once a month.
okay, but also consider we have 2 guys that are responsible for doing absolutely everything in town.
Yeah,
And, you know, I don't think everybody really realized what Andrew and Frank were doing. Everything they were doing.
Yes.
He talked to Frank on a daily,
Yeah.
so he knew.
So I mean, the fact that we could get 2 guys who are younger, who are willing to stick it out and learn how to do most of this stuff is amazing. And we're trying really hard to keep them because, you know, one of them lives here in town, Junior here, and the other one's younger than Junior, and he seems to be really picking up on it too. So with Jake's help,
When you read the meters, what's that? It's just a handheld thing you drive by and it picks it up?
I'm part of town.
Half and half.
Part of the time?
South Park Town.
Okay, so my question is, you just hold it with one hand, right? Drive past the meter and it reads it. So how many people does it take to read meters? 'Cause every time you guys go out reading meters, there's 2 of you in side by side.
We usually
One
do
guy
it-
could be flushing hydrants, one guy could be driving side by side reading meters. You guys don't need to be joined at the hip everywhere you go. Just a thought.
Okay.
One last quick question on the hydrant flushing. Do you document each time you do that? The reason I'm asking with ISO, they're looking for a minimum of twice a year, but that has to be documented. And that's every hydrant, not just, you know, selected.
Certain ones.
And if it's not documented, then they ding us in the ISO rating on the water side of things.
Okay.
The last time we did it was Andrew. He's been gone, it's been 3 years.
At least, yeah.
So we're ballpark a year and a half from another ISO inspection, which is
Sure.
gonna require all the hydrant flush documentation.
Okay. I'm
But
not
you're
sure.
doing it.
I'm guessing Jake would know that, but I don't know that if Jake has passed that along to these guys.
Okay.
So, you know,
I
there's
have
that.
a hydrant in my pasture. I don't know. if
It's
you
actually
guys-
turned off.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually
was gonna say,
know that one.
I was gonna say, I don't know, but I mean, if you guys needed to use it, go,
Yeah.
feel free. I didn't know. I was-
No, the one on our end of town, on the north end of town, is right there on the main drag.
Your insurance will go up.
My insurance would go up if I
You remove the
removed it?
hydrant.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
But
The hydrant on your property makes your insurance go down.
As long as it's connected.
Well, it can be turned on.
It's not connected.
If it's not connected, it wouldn't
Well, I
matter.
mean, I was kinda hoping it was connected to, you know what I mean, maybe switch out something where. you
All I
guys
gotta
can
do
use
is
it, but-
take it.
Yeah, it's. I think it's turned off closer to where we are.
Turn valve.
As long as that valve works. That's the other catch, is we're running into a lot of that. So, all right. So hopefully, yeah.
Can that hydrant be removed?
We're just talking about that. I don't know. If it's going to affect his property insurance, I don't know.
I'm all around.
And in the end, maybe he wants to build a subdivision out there. I don't know.
If there's no water to it, just hit it, and it's removed.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, treat it like a phone box.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, there you go.
So, all right. So hopefully that takes care of everybody's immediate questions on water, and everybody's kind of on the same page. I'm doing what I can to keep everybody informed, but I'm not fighting fights on Facebook. I refuse to do that. So,
There's enough of us here that, you know, if they didn't want the water rates increased, they should have came and voiced that. We're all here saying raise the rates
Sure.
and improve our water quality.
We've
It's the
already,
board's decision.
yes, it is. And we've discussed it. It's on the agenda tonight to talk about. That's why I wanted to,
Because there's enough of us here that have said raise the water.
well,
Send out a letter and let everyone know, you know,
Yeah.
that it's gonna be a gradual increase so they get used to it, and then I've lived in all the towns around here, we do have the lowest water rates.
Yeah.
By
and that's
far.
and that's why when they're doing big construction like the big power lines, they were buying their water from us because it was cheap, until we raised it for the bulk water sales. But that's a whole other thing. And unfortunately, it can't be a gradual. This has to be done by December for us to apply for grants. So it's going to have to be an all or nothing.
Get her done.
Okay.
well, it was my fault that we haven't raised the rates already, but I didn't want to see our rates go up until we had our softener back online.
Yep.
You know, and we have a chance to get some decent water to the lines. So we got the guys that run the filters correctly. We got our softener back online. Hopefully the water's gonna improve quite a bit. I know the chlorine's a bit of a problem, but we've actually been instructed to increase the chlorine in the plant because of the nitrate levels of the water. So it's gonna be more chlorine in the water than what we were used to a year ago or more. So, you know, it's just regulations that's making us do it.
Right. So, and we do test the water regularly. So you know that's an EPA requirement.
Ross, has the, on a different note, has the water been fixed at the bulk water at the
No,
plant?
not yet. We're waiting
No,
on. Still waiting on the part.
There's another part we have to order because it broke.
It's rough water too, isn't it? Bulk waters used to be rough water. It's not treated water.
Is it
No,
ready?
it's treated.
Is it treated now?
Yep.
Because we're doing,
Having a haul.
we have to haul,
Right. And
so.
through the course of the water tower and all the other drama that's going on, I'd love to see that get replaced. We were talking several years ago about trying to move it so it'd be more convenient for people with trailers and everything coming in. We never got too far with that planning process because everything else kind of blew up. So, lots of plans, just not enough hands. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on. First order under the old business is actually water rates. So after anybody on the board got any concerns with bumping it up?
I have no concerns at this point. With the money we've spent on the plant, we're gonna have to do something.
Okay.
And the money we could potentially get for doing it,
Yeah.
definitely a necessity.
Yes. So, okay. So can I get a motion to increase the water rates from $10 per 1,000 gallons to $15 per 1,000 gallons?
I'll motion.
Get a second?
Second.
Okay. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? All right.
Blame it on me.
It's all Jim's fault. Everybody heard it.
That's right.
All right. And we have a new member of the board looking to join. We need to fill the seat.
Hello.
Hi,
If you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Brooke Cottle. Nice to meet all of you.
She's decided to join the crazy train. So if you're ready, we can go ahead and do the oath. Look it up because that requires. There it is. All right. Raise your right hand. There it is. I state your name.
I, Brooke Cottle,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village trustee.
That
was a lot.
Yeah.
That I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of village trustee
of the village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you're in for life.
Thank you for having the courage to sit down and do that.
I feel like you need some more girls, so.
That's right.
I think we've already cycled through all the new business. We do need to do a closed session, so for all of you that have come to join us tonight, I guess this is the,
Goodbye.
unless you want to stand outside while we talk about other stuff.
Is anything gonna happen after the close?
Negative.
You're just gonna
We-
come back and?
Come back just to close and go.
Yep.
Anybody here from Kansas that wants some water, this was donated by Walmart, so it's drinking water. You're welcome to take the case.
It's what's
Not that one,
left
no.
of 2 pallets full of water that they donated to us.
When the power was off,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I noticed for the new trustee, and when was the appointment?
Just now. Because literally we didn't have her, we weren't even, she wasn't on the radar until this week.
Just asking.
we had an open seat and it has to be a certain period between elections that we can appoint somebody. If it's close to an election, then somebody has to run. So it's a long ways for the next election for board members, so.
And normally it's you make a nomination and there's a board vote on an appointment. I think that's why he's asking.
Oh. I don't think that's the way it's been done, but okay. All right. So we get a motion to move to closed session? Move. All right. Closed session, let everybody get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
That was me. That was
There you go. See, go keep